minutes after 8 o'clock. It's time to go to Film School. We bring in film study professor Joe Fortunato each Friday at this time here on WAKR. And we're going back in time to one of those coming-of-age drama flicks, Rebel Without a Cause. Joe Fortunato now joins us. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Ray. How's it going?
We're doing well. Looking forward to your presentation today.
Yeah, today we're talking about the James Dean classic, Rebel Without a Cause, from 1955, directed by Nicholas Ray, also written by Nicholas Ray and Stuart Stern. Of course, it starred James Dean, Natalie Wood, Sal Mineo, and a pre-Gilligan's Island Jim Backus. It was nominated for 3 Oscars, Sal Mineo for supporting actor, Natalie Wood for supporting actress, and writing. The famous line from the film, "You're Tearing Me Apart," was voted number 97 on the 100 greatest movie lines of all time. And it was a big hit. Sadly, it was released only a month after James Dean's tragic auto accident that caused his death. So, some of that led to its box office success, but it was the second biggest hit of the year for Warner Brothers that year, right after a film called Mr. Roberts. There were several versions of this film in development prior to the one that we know and love now. One of them was to star Marlon Brando. That was eventually shelved, and then before Nicholas Ray came on board, several scripts were commissioned, and one of them was by a guy named Theodore Geisel. You know him as Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
So, yes, Dr. Seuss wrote an early draft of Rebel Without a Cause before it came to be the one that we know and love. So much going on here. Of course, the idea, as you mentioned off the top, of rebellious teenagers and coming-of-age drama, this was sort of a theme in the 50s. We had Blackboard Jungle and other movies like that. And of course, rebellious teens is kind of a theme in every generation, but this is one that has lasted the test of time, probably because of James Dean. One thing that we tend to forget, I think, is James Dean has been one of the icons of Hollywood for, going on almost 70 years now, and he only made 3 films. That's incredible when you think about it. Only 3 films in his entire career, and Rebel Without a Cause is one of the others, East of Eden and Giant. Some things going on behind the scenes of Rebel Without a Cause. There was drama behind the scenes as well. Natalie Woods, and I hate to sort of shame her here, she was having an affair with both director Nicholas Ray and co-star, who was a bit of a small part of the film, Dennis Hopper, in one of his first films. In fact, Dennis Hopper had more lines in the film, but because Ray was jealous of her relationship with him, he cut a lot of Dennis Hopper's lines. In fact, he was going to cut Dennis Hopper out of the movie altogether and fire him, but he wasn't allowed to do that because of the Warner Brothers contract.
Wow, that's interesting. I like that behind-the-scenes thing. So this cast, though, is really interesting. And at that time, when you look at Sal Mineo in this role, that's when he was just starting to make it big, right, Joe? Yeah,
and James Dean was actually 24 years old when this movie was filmed. Of course, they're supposed to be playing high schoolers.
Yeah.
But Natalie Wood and Sal Mineo were about the right age. And, aside from James Dean's tragic death, this film has a reputation of being cursed, if you believe in that sort of thing, because all 3 of the lead actors, James Dean, Sal Mineo, and Natalie Wood, died under tragic circumstances at young ages. Of course, we already mentioned that Dean died in a car accident. Sal Mineo was stabbed, and Natalie Wood famously drowned. Not only that, but Edward Platt, who played one of the police guys at the juvenile hall, he committed suicide in 1974. So some tragedies there behind the scenes. We also always like to talk about casting. Now, James Dean was the person that Nicholas Ray wanted all along. In fact, he said, "I'm not even going to do this movie unless we get James Dean." But there were some other people. Paul Newman was once considered for the role of Jim Stark. That's the character that James Dean plays. Some of the other roles, Debbie Reynolds was suggested for the part of Judy. Jane Mansfield was also testing But Nicholas Ray almost laughed at that and said that's a hallucination from the Warner's casting department. Dennis Hopper was going to be considered for the role of Plato. Instead, he got like I said, the sub role or just one of the gang members. And some of the people that were considered for Jim's father include Walter Matthau and Raymond Burr. So, some fun casting behind the scenes as well.
This movie got some Academy Award nominations. How was it received at the box office? Did it do well money-wise?
Yeah, well, like I said, it was a big hit for Warner Brothers, their second biggest hit of the year. It did pretty well. And, of course, it's lasted forever. And I hate to be maudlin about it, but, I think part of that was because it coincided, like I said, about a month earlier with the death of James Dean. So there was a lot of buzz about the film. But James Dean was a rising star from East of Eden. So, in fact, this film was originally going to be in black and white. And because Warner Brothers said, hey, I think we have a rising star here with James Dean after the release of East of Eden, they said, no, we're going to spend some more money on this. We're going to make it in color. We're going to make it in CinemaScope, so it was widescreen, which was kind of new at the time. So it's a much more lavish production now than it intended to be because James Dean was a rising star. In fact, talking about the production and the color and all that stuff, James Dean's iconic red jacket and jeans look was the inspiration for, if you're an animation fan or a TV fan, for the lead character in the animated series Futurama, Fry. He was dressed to look like James Dean.
There you go. Rebel Without a Cause. Film School today with film study Professor Joe Fortunato. You can revisit this visit with us by simply going to WAKR.net. Great stuff this morning, Joe, again, my friend, and we'll do it again next Monday. All right, next Friday.